both the state and the defense have agreed to the following. They've stipulated that the female caller on the 911 tape from January 17, 2008 at 6:14 p.m. is Denise Lee.
The first sign that something was terribly wrong came through a phone line at 6:14 p.m. The 911 operator could hear a woman struggling to breathe, her voice shaking as she begged for help. She apologized repeatedly, said she just wanted to see her children again. She didn't know where she was. She didn't know where she was going. She only knew she was in a car with a man she didn't know.
Hello? Please let me know. Hello? Help me. What's the address?
Her name was Denise Amber Lee. She tried to speak carefully. She gave her name. She said she was in a green Camaro. She said the man driving was a stranger. She mentioned her children were still at home. In the background, a man's voice cut through the call, sharp and suspicious, asking where the phone was. The call lasted 7 minutes before it abruptly ended. By the time it did, police across multiple counties were already searching for Denise. But the worst part was, they had been looking for her for hours. Earlier that afternoon, January 17th, 2008, had felt ordinary, unremarkable. Denise's husband, Nathan Lee, left for work that morning like he always did. He was juggling 3 jobs to support his family while Denise, just 21 years old, stayed home with their 2 young sons, Noah and Adam. The weather was unusually warm for winter in Northport, Florida. To save money, they decided to turn off the air conditioning and open the windows. Denise mentioned she planned to cut Noah's hair on the back deck later that day. That was the last normal conversation they would ever have. At around 3 p.m, Nathan tried calling Denise to coordinate grocery shopping. She didn't answer. He called again, and again. 8 times during his 25-minute drive home. When he pulled into the driveway, the windows were closed. It didn't make sense. The day was warm. The windows had been open all morning. Inside the house, nothing appeared stolen. There were no signs of forced entry, but something was wrong. Both boys were asleep in the same crib, something they had never done before. Denise's phone and keys were left behind on the couch. Denise was gone. Nathan called 911 at 3:29 p.m.
For emergency?
I just got home from work and my wife, I can't find her. My kids were in the house and I just don't know where she is. I've looked every single place and I don't know.
Your kids are at home by themselves?
Yes. I don't know. I have no idea.
She's never done this before?
No. I don't know where mommy is.
Denise Amber Lee had grown up in nearby Englewood, Florida. The eldest child of Rick Goff, a police sergeant with over 25 years of experience. Rick described her as responsible, gentle, and driven. She rarely partied, focused on school, and dreamed of becoming a speech therapist. She loved working with people with disabilities and adored Disneyland. She married her high school sweetheart, Nathan Lee, in 2005. 2 children followed quickly. Their life wasn't glamorous, but it was stable, quiet, safe, or so they believed. When Rick received Nathan's call telling him Denise was missing, he immediately understood the urgency. He also understood how easily missing adults, especially spouses, could be deprioritized. He didn't wait. Within minutes, Rick contacted colleagues in Charlotte and Sarasota counties. Helicopters were deployed. Officers canvassed the neighborhood. This was no longer just a missing person, it was a race against time. At approximately 2:30 p.m, a neighbor named Jennifer Ert had noticed something strange. A green Camaro sat idling in Denise's driveway. A white male was inside, unmoving. The car stayed there for about 15 minutes before leaving. Neither Denise nor Nathan knew anyone who drove a green Camaro. Police issued a BOLO. At 6:23 p.m, another 911 call came in. This one from a woman named Sabrina Mello. She reported a disturbing encounter involving her cousin, Michael Lee King. Michael had arrived at her father Harold's home asking to borrow a shovel and a gas can. While they were talking, a woman jumped out of Michael's car, screaming for help and begging Harold to call the police. Michael grabbed her, forced her back into the car, dismissed it casually and drove away. Harold hesitated. He didn't call police. Sabrina did. Minutes later, yet another call came in. At a red light in Northport, a woman named Jane Kowalski sat in her car with the windows down. From the vehicle beside her, a dark green Camaro, she heard screaming. Desperate, muffled cries. She looked over. The driver stared straight ahead. Then a hand slammed against the back window. Jane called 911 in real time, describing the car, the driver, and the direction of travel. She tried to slow down so the Camaro would pass her. She asked if she should follow. The call was chaotic. The information wasn't properly logged. Nearby patrol units were never informed. The Camaro vanished.
Flight, and a man pulled up next to me, and there was a child screaming in the car. Not a happy vehicle at the end. Blue Camaro, like Camaro, in the 90s, 2000s or something. White male driver, and there was a child screaming in the car and banging on the window like a threat. I've got everybody hollering at me, and just one second. He's going to turn left on Toledo Blade. He's turning left right now. You want me to turn? Try to follow him, or? Okay. Does he want her to follow him? Okay, can you turn? Oh. He just turned on Toledo Blade. I don't know if I can catch up. There's a bunch of traffic and I can't get over.
By 6:42 p.m, police traced the burner phone used in Denise's 911 call to a man named Michael Lee King, a 37-year-old unemployed plumber facing foreclosure. No criminal record, recently divorced, living alone. When police entered his home, they found duct tape with strands of hair stuck to it. The scene suggested prolonged restraint. Michael was gone. At 9:16 p.m, a state trooper stopped a green 1995 Camaro with a black bra on the hood. Michael Lee King was behind the wheel. Denise was not with him. Michael was soaked from the waist down. A muddy shovel lay in the car. The burner phone was in his pocket, battery removed. Denise Amber Lee was found 2 days later in a shallow ditch less than half a mile away. She had been shot once in the head. Michael Lee King claimed he too had been kidnapped. He claimed ignorance. He lied. Evidence told the rest. He had practiced shooting at a gun range the morning of the crime. He abducted Denise from her home, assaulted her, drove her around Northport and murdered her when he realized police were closing in. At trial, the jury took less than 2 hours to convict him on all counts. On September 4th, 2009, Michael Lee King was sentenced to death. Denise Amber Lee's voice became the strongest evidence against her killer. Her 911 call provided the car, the suspect, and the timeline. Without it, police later admitted they might never have identified him. Her family went on to advocate for nationwide reforms in 911 operator training, determined that her death would not be in vain. Denise was 21 years old, a wife, a mother, a voice that refused to go silent, and in the end, that voice spoke loud enough to bring her killer to justice.
You know, I guess our family really decided early on that we were going to do what we had to do to honor Denise and make sure her death wasn't in vain.
Following the 21-year-old's death, Lee had started the Denise Amber Lee Foundation. He speaks to and helps train 911 centers throughout the country using Denise's story.
Our life was great. We weren't making millions of dollars or anything, but we were happy. Every day I look forward to coming home to her and the boys. We just felt blessed every day that we got to wake up with each other and knew that we had two beautiful kids, and looking forward to watching them grow up and looking forward to all the things we were going to get to do together. She definitely enjoyed staying home with the boys. It wasn't a job to her. It was something that she just loved doing. Just watching her holding one of the kids or playing with one of the kids just made my heart melt every time.